Morning you lot, how's it going? Hope you're all absolutely fine and dandy. You're watching me now in the past. Yep. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how can I be watching you in any more of the past than I normally do? Because you're in a recorded video. It is the past. It's not live. This is even more of the past than a normal past. Because this Hot Bodies Lightning GTX 2 is not here. I know what you're thinking. It's there. I'm looking at it. I'm looking right at it. In fact, I'm even touching it. You're not, but I am touching it. But trust me, it's not here. Because now that's here. Now let me tell you a little bit of a story before we unbox all of this and we see what's actually inside it. Let me tell you a little bit of the backstory as to why this is here and not the Hot Bodies Lightning GTX 2. Alright, so when I first announced, I first said I think I want to get rid of the Hot Bodies Lightning GTX 2. I was kind of half serious because I really didn't want to get rid of it because it's a classic. It's, you know, it's vintage. You don't get them anymore. They don't make them. No company, at least no good company, I don't even think even any bad companies make a twin engine nitro anymore. They don't make cars like they used to. They don't make cars like that. And I really wanted to keep it, but then again, I couldn't justify keeping it around. I couldn't justify the money invested in it, and I couldn't justify just the space. I didn't have enough space to keep it. So I thought, right, I'll try and sell it, but I'll sell it not just to any Tom, Dick and Harry. I'll sell it to someone who knows what they're getting, and it's going to be put in a collection, and it's going to be looked after and probably driven now and again in the summer, but mainly looked after, not broken to bits, not broken up, not bashed as some of you like to call it. So that's why I didn't advertise it publicly. I just said to the enthusiasts in some of my videos, I think I might be looking to get rid of it. And I intended to take only money for it. That's what I intended. I thought, nope, don't want any more cars. I only want money. But then an opportunity came up. An opportunity came up to own another brilliant vintage RC car. One that some can only dream of. Because you can't get them anymore. They don't make them. Second-hand ones are difficult to come by. Very difficult to come by because they didn't make many of them. And people didn't buy many of them, and the ones that were bought got smashed up, beaten up, broken for parts. So to find good ones are difficult to come by. So I decided to do a swap. So I swapped it. I swapped the Lightning GTX 2 for this, what you're about to see, and I haven't seen it yet because it's still in the packet, still in the bin bag that it was posted to me in. So now you know the story of how I've come about this and what happened. Let's open it up and see what we can find inside this box. I can see a little bit of it poking through the bin bag. This is going to be good. Now, because this is quite a large box, I'm going to do it on the floor. Now, I don't know whether you lot, I know I'm adding suspense here. Some of you probably getting bored, getting fed up, probably going to start skipping forward, but please don't. This is the suspense which is needed. Those who wait. Good things come to those who wait. Anyway, some of you might be able to see through the bin bag, the box, and you might have a little idea of what this should be inside. As long as I haven't been swindled. No, I haven't been swindled. I'm joking. If the person I've swapped this with is watching, I know. I'm only joking. Right. That's what we've got, my friends. Savage Octane. Savage bloody Octane. These are extremely difficult to come by in any sort of condition, let alone this is supposed to be, don't know how the hell you meant to open up this box. How do I open it? Oh, let's put a bit of tape on it. Right. This is supposed to be working. It's supposed to be a working one, all complete. But just needs a bit of attention. Apparently the engine needs a tune and it just needs attention on it. So we'll see. We'll see what we've actually got. Loads of bubble wrap. Oh, hello. Loads and loads of bubble wrap. Nice bit of wood there. I like that. Nice bit of wood. Alright. Well, that could be a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem going on down here. I don't know whether this has happened in the postage or if this... I don't think he would have put that in there like that, to be honest. I think that must have happened in the box when it was being posted to me. Because now we don't have a transmitter for it, but that's all right. I've got a receiver and I can stick a Futaba transmitter in there. But that's a shame. That's a shame that the original transmitter's been demolished. But that's all right. We can get around problems like that. That's no problem. I might even better glue it back together. Bit of a soldering iron, solder them wires back together. Bit of glue. I might better resurrect that. We'll see. What's this for? We've got a charger, obviously, to charge up the transmitter and a battery. This truck car thing is a bit unique. So what's that? A wheelie bar. Got a wheelie bar in there. It's a bit unique in the way that it works, really, because it's petrol. It's not nitro. It's petrol, but it's not your normal petrol engine. I'll tell you all about it in a minute. Let's get it out of the box. There we go. There we go. Move this box out of the way. One Savage Octane. Oh, yes. I think it's in quite good condition. I don't reckon it's had much use really, which is what I wanted. I was hoping for that. When this person said to me, look, got a Savage Octane, would you like to do a swap? Or would you like to come to some sort of deal? I said, yes. And I looked at the pictures and he said to me, it's hardly had any use, which is about right. Because my Lightning GTX 2 hardly had any use either. Now I do believe the battery should be in there because this is a petrol engine. Yeah, 2-stroke petrol engine. But normally all the points and everything for the ignition and the spark are within the engine. And as the flywheel goes around, it generates that spark for the spark plug, which then ignites the petrol. It's all self-contained. It will just run. But where this is unique is it doesn't have any of that. It's literally just a crankshaft, con rod and a piston. The flywheel doesn't have any, no points, there's no nothing like that. There's a hump pack or a battery which provides the ignition. So as long as that battery is charged, you'll get ignition. It charges up the coil. If the battery goes flat, you've got no ignition, you've got no engine. So you need a battery in order for it to run, which is where it's unique. Anyway, let's get this up on the bench because my ankle, sorry, is hurting kneeling down like this. Let's have a little look around this as a close-up. This is much like your ordinary Nitro Savage, but it's got whacked in the back of it, look. A petrol engine, it's a 2-stroke, 15cc if I remember correctly. Me being me, I haven't done any research extra Research extra. Talking like a foreigner. I haven't done any extra research on an octane, having known that I am receiving one. I had one in the past. It wasn't a runner. I acquired it. I don't know what happened to it. I think the crank had exploded or something happened to it. So I moved it on, because at that time I had no interest in repairing it, because I had loads of other stuff going on. So I've never had a working one. Never had one, the potential of it running. So let's have a little look around it. There's a lot of cable ties everywhere. Cable tie in there. This one is the ignition battery. And now he said it comes with the batteries needed for it to run. So it should have hump packs in here. There we go. There's 2 hump packs in there. One would be for the servos and the receiver, and the other one is for the ignition. We'll have a look at it, don't worry. We're going to start it up in this video. You know, this is a will it run video, but we're going to have a little look at it. There's the air filter. Goes down there now. Seems to be in reasonable condition. Antenna. Sparkulating plug. There's your petrol tank where your 2-stroke petrol goes. It's got to be mixed with oil, obviously, as 2-stroke petrol is. Bloody little vent thing on the top there. There's a little clunk down in the bottom there with a filter. Now I can't remember off the top of my head, and there'll be some of you lot which will be screaming at the screen saying, "You cock." Yes, it has, but I can't remember if these have 2 gears or just a 1 gear. I think they might have 2 gears, but it might just be 1. I genuinely can't remember. It's been quite some time since I've had anything to do with the Savage Octane. Steering servo down there, quite happily living. Look at this exhaust. Look at that exhaust. That's an exhaust and a half, that is. What a lovely thing. They probably do make... I'm going to take that out of there now, because I'll probably forget. It looks like a tampon, doesn't it? Alright, there we go. There's the pole starter. Loads of... Can't really do it with one hand, it's a bit... Can't do it with one hand, but it did turn over, and it turned over quite nicely. Now this looks like it needs to be repaired. There's a couple of screws being put in there. It's held together with a cable tie at the moment. So we'll find a couple of screws and we'll stick them in there, and then we won't need that cable tie anymore. Although I suspect the cable tie is holding those 2 pins in, but I reckon, well, it shouldn't be like that. Anyway, we'll mend that. That's no problem at all. There's the carburetor. Hello there, Mr. Carburetor. How are you doing? Primer bulb. Yeah, that's not perished. I'll explain all of the things what happen to 2-stroke engines and things you need to look out for in due time. But that's enough looking. Let's try and get this to a state where we can try and fire it up, shall we? Now, it did in a separate envelope, because the person, he said to me, he sent it off and he goes, "I forgot to send the manual in the box, so I'll post it off separately." I said, "Alright, no worries." Now they both arrived at the same time, a great big jiffy bag and the box, and I'm thinking, what the hell's in this great big jiffy bag? I'm not expecting any other parcels, I'm only expecting that, I want nothing else. I'm feeling it, and it's 2 great big folders, and I'm thinking to myself, what the bloody hell is this? This is the manual. This is the manual. I don't know what that says. Default. Oh, high speed 1 1/8, low speed 1.5 turns. Oh, it tells the default needle settings. That's pretty good. So we've got them. We've got the manual for the whole car, Savage Octane XL instruction manual, and we've also got the manual for the engine. Now I don't know, I honestly don't know whether it would have come in these green folders from the factory or if this has been done. I would imagine this has been compiled by one of the owners at some point. But it's all put nice and neat into. Oh bloody hell, what have we got there? Look, HPI stickers there as well. Oh. It's all put nice and neatly into this folder. Yeah, this has been done. This isn't from the factory, I can see that. Yeah, because they normally just come as a paper thingy. So this has all been probably printed off and put in a folder. What a nice little touch. I've got the instruction, well, I've got loads of instruction manuals and I've never put them in folders, so this is a real nice touch. I like that, very nice. And this is the instruction manual for the engine, quite thick, but if we do run into any trouble, it'll definitely tell us what we need to be doing. Starting the engine, that tells you how to check the spark, but luckily we know all of this anyway, because two-stroke engines are my bread and butter. That being said, my friends, that being said, don't let yourself become arrogant. Never ever think to yourself, I don't need any of that, I know it all. Arrogance covers up any potential to learn anything if you think you know it all. Always be open to learning. So, if we run into any trouble, I will be referring to that instruction manual, because that's how you learn, my friends. Don't become arrogant. Right, so let's have a look. Let's put these manuals over there and get them out of the way. Let's turn this around. Now, because we haven't got, well, I might be able to put batteries in that transmitter and try and get it to see if it'll just turn on and I can use it. But at the moment we haven't got any throttle, so I have to do all of that manually. Where the throttle is, there's the throttle. Oh, there's no spring on there. I wonder if there's supposed to be a spring on there. I don't know. Anyway, at the moment it's on tick over, which is good. We need to put some pepper in it, so that's the first thing we do, and then we'll put pepper in it. Bit of petrol. I've got, I think it said 25 to 1, didn't it? But I've got, didn't it say 25 to 1? No, we're going to refer to this manual already, just to see what it says. 25 to 1, there we go. Regular pump gasoline or petrol for passenger cars, and good quality two-stroke engine oil. You can tell it's written in America, can't you? Your first bottle of oil is included with your octane to get you going. Higher octane Ron gasoline petrol will not improve the performance and may stop your engine from running. Jesus Christ, really? Yeah, 25 to 1 ratio. Righto. So, what we're going to do is we're going to get this petrol in this can here, which is what I used for my it's what I used for my dirt bike when I had it about 6 or 7 years ago. Nice blue oil. A bit more. We'll fill her up. Hey! There we go. Pretty much, basically, full up. I was going to put that on there then. What cock. So that's the petrol sorted. What else we got? Stick that on there like that. Doing a little lid up. Happy days. Now the only thing I don't know is, how do we know if this battery's got any charge in it? I suppose it just won't start. I mean, I don't know. Suppose it just won't start. There's our choke. Turn our choke on. We've got that looks like it's on tick over. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it on the floor, and then we can prime it here. Look, a little primer bulb down there. Yep. She's charging. That's a return line. When the carburetor gets too much, it just chucks it back into the tank. That way, you shouldn't flood your engine too much. Stick her on the floor so it's easier for me to pull it, and we'll have a look. Well, I've just realised that these hump packs here, they're the ones with the extra little things popping out. So we can actually test these to see if they're any good. If they've got power. Oh, I think they might be flat. I think they might be flat. I think we've got flat batteries. Right, let me sort the batteries out. Right, so both of those batteries that are in it were completely, they didn't even have an inkling of electricity in them. So I've gone and nicked a couple of batteries out of a couple of other cars. And we've got the coil down in there, or whatever they call it. I call it a coil. You energise the coil, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, got that down there, so let's stick, we'll put that one in there, and that one, if you can see, can go in there. This one looks like it should be for the receiver, I think. Can't see. I'll have to delve into this more and actually work out what is what, just so I know. But for now, all I know is we've got both plugged in. So we've got electric to the receiver, and the coil. So we should have. Oh, that was already on. What's this one? That was already on as well. Well, we don't get any noise. Now, one of the things what does happen is, I know for a fact, is the coil stops working, the coils burn out, and you can't get new ones, and it's difficult to get second-hand ones. So it is a bit of a gamble, but we'll see. We will see. Any luck, I better stuff all of this in there. Oh, that's not very good. So it's been pinched at one point. All right. We'll put that like that for now. Turn that on. We've primed it. We've got the choke on. Pull start is around this side. So that should be full throttle. Tick over. Let's see what we get. Oh, she went then. Sorry you lot, I'm back. I was being called in the middle of that. I could hear, Daddy, Daddy. Anyway, where was we? Right, so it fired, but then it wouldn't go no more. So let's put the choke off. I had the choke on before because it's quite cold. It's about, I think it's about 7 degrees Celsius at the moment in this morning. Yeah, so choke. Well, apparently then one of those batteries that was completely flat after about 3 minutes is now charged. Oh well. Oh well. So no choke. Ignition still on. Let's see what we get. Get ready. I might need the what's it here, the transmitter, so I can give it a bit of throttle. I think what we should do cut this cable tie, lift this off, and we'll check to make sure we've actually got a spark, and then we'll go from there. Now, just to make sure I don't break my rule that I said to you about being arrogant, we'll have a look in this engine manual. Now, this is a 2-stroke engine. It's a basic 2-stroke engine. The only difference is you've got a separate battery to energize the coil to make it work. Much like a car, like your real actual car that you drive around, you have your 12-volt battery. You turn the ignition on, it energizes the coil, which then allows the points to work. Yeah, they go around, spark, 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 send a spark down the HT lead into your spark plug, ba-ding, and away we go. It's the same as that. Normally on your little engines like this, your little strimmer engines, you don't have a coil like that. It's just as the flywheel goes around, the 2 magnets generate a spark, go down into your plug, ignite the fuel. But this runs just like a big full-size petrol engine. But let's make sure that we're not missing anything and read the first part, which is starting your engine. Starting the engine. Can you see? Where are you? There it is. Read through the manual. Don't give it that. Turn on the radio and engine system in this order: radio transmitter, radio switch on the truck, then the engine ignition system. Sorry, I thought you could see. I haven't got a transmitter, but as far as I can see, the radio system has nothing to do with the engine. We just need to turn on the engine ignition system. Press the primer bulb on the engine a few times until fuel is in the yellow return line. We did that. And then, because it's just a simple 2-stroke engine, it's as simple as make sure the choke is in the open position, which we did. Where are we? There we go. Pull the starter on sharp few turns, don't put it more than 50 centimeters or 20 inches. Your octane should start in 4 to 5 pulls. So you don't have to do anything else. It is just a basic 2-stroke engine. So then we're not missing anything. We're not doing anything silly. Let's get some side cutters and cut off this cable tie. I'm just holding this down. I think we have to pull them out. I can't get that one out because the bloody exhaust is away. How does that work? What I want to do. How does that work then? Bloody. How do you get your plug out then? Pull this out. Right, let me get some pliers. Let me get some pliers. Let me get some pliers. The debate is still out there. Are these long-nosed pliers or needle-nosed pliers? Nobody's answered me in the comments of the other video. What are they? To me, these are long-nosed pliers. I know some people call them needle-nosed. Needle-nosed are the ones with the really pointed ends. These aren't really pointed, so these are just long-nosed. Anyway, let's get that out of there. Boink, like that. And now we should better take that out of there. And that, bloody hell. They haven't made that easy, do they? I can't get that out of there because that exhaust is in the way. That's a bit of a daft design, isn't it? Whoever designed that, you have to take the exhaust off in order to take the R-clip out, in order to take the cage off the top. We won't be doing that. Alright, let me try and lever that up out of there like that. We should be able to take that through there like that, and then we should be able to do something like that. I'll tell you what, we probably could get the socket in the top there. It probably will go through that gap. I probably don't need to remove this cage, but if I move it across, I better get that in there. Let me go and get a socket that will fit that plug and we'll have a look. Now, for anyone wondering, it's a 14mm. 14mm. My normal plug sockets wouldn't fit in the gap, so I had to use a long reach socket. There's our plug. It's very wet, definitely somewhat flooded, so we'll give it a clean off with a bit of rag. What plug is that? RC XL. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the original plug. CM6. I've got some of these tiny little plugs because I had a generator that was, I think it was about 20cc Honda generator from 1960, and it had these little plugs in it. I think I've still got one or two of them in the toolbox somewhere. Now the battery's charged up now. I can't see how they're charged after about 3 minutes, but there we go. Right, a little bit of kitchen paper, and we'll give this a wipe. I might spray a little bit of brake cleaner on it. We'll see how it cleans up. A little bit of a wire brush as well, maybe. The gap, I don't know what the gap's meant to be. Maybe it says in the manual. We'll have to go through the manual and see what the gap's meant to be, and we'll gap it properly. It's got quite a bit of oil on it, so we'll just... There we go. Look at that. Some people, they get a lighter and burn all the oil and petrol off. I tend to use a wire brush and a bit of kitchen paper, a bit of brake cleaner or carb cleaner, something like that. But in this case, a bit of kitchen paper's done the job. Not wet anymore, not flooded. So let's see if we've actually got a spark. The way we can test to see if we've got a spark is, we plug that in now, like that. And then we put that on there, like that. I don't know whether you can see or not. Let me zoom you in. Put you up there like that. You're not going to be able to see a dicky bird, are you? I'm not going to be able to see a dicky bird. How can I put that so that you can see it? Just got to be able to make contact. Why can't you just be in a place where you can see? I mean, why did you choose to sit there? I mean, you could have sat in a place where you can see it. I mean, you've come to watch this. At least sit in a place where you can see it, for goodness sake. How's that? Is that making contact? I think that's making contact. And I think you should be able to see that there. Right? If that sparks. Turn that on. Oh yes, look at that, can you see it? So we've got sparkage. We know the batteries are working. We know everything's working. So I'll turn that on so I don't get a shock, because that can bloody hurt. Bloody, if you've ever had a shock from a spark plug, it goes right up your arm. Sometimes it goes down your legs and it makes you go God, proper. Some people handle it more than others. I think I've had so many shocks now from plugs and HT leads and coils and whatever else, however many hundreds of thousands of volts they are. It ain't as bad as what it used to be. Oh man, when I was a kid I'd get a shock and I'd be like, ooh, and I'd still feel it buzzing through your hands and up your arm about half an hour later. But nowadays, it ain't so bad. Get used to it. Right, so that's that. Put the old lead back on. Now he had it going through there, but that was a bit of a pain, wasn't it? I suppose it's the only way that it can go though, isn't it, really, through there? We'll put it back through there for now, because we want it to, all I want to do is I want it to fire up. That's what I want. So there we go. Now we should be good. Let's try again, see if we can get it to fire. Right, here we go. Pull that back a little bit. And there, that is on. Let's see if we go. that tick over is slightly too high, but it runs, which is good. I'm not going to go any further with that until I can get a transmitter, because then we can actually give it a go. But man, that sounded nuts. That sounded quite healthy from that little piece of running that we had. Tick over is definitely too high, that needs to come down. But it runs brilliantly. So now I'm going to sort out all the batteries, get them all nice and neat. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll take them out, charge them up, make sure they're fully charged, and then we'll put them back in. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to try and sort out the receiver and that, and because I've got no transmitter obviously, so I'm probably going to glue that together and see if I can mend that. In fact, I might do that in the meantime. Right, that was great. So a few things I need to do then. So we need to, that coil wire, I don't know how that would have originally gone. I'm assuming they wouldn't just cable tie it to that. They might do, you never know. They must have run some kind of route originally, and now it's just run that way. But anyway, it's not too bad being cable tied there. No one's cut the tails off. I'll sort that out. Needs a couple of R-clips to hold that cage down so it doesn't rattle around. I need to take that out. The brakes seem to be stuck on permanently. I can't get those off. We can get them off. That's like you just do that. But they seem to be adjusted wrong. But I won't know that until I get a receiver in now. With a transmitter that works, and then we can have a look at that. So let's put a Futaba receiver in there, because I've only got a spare Futaba one. So I'll put that in there, and then we should be able to make sure the servos work, make sure the steering works, throttle works, brakes work as they should do, and then we'll go from there. Oh man, happy days. I can't wait to give this a go. This is going to be the nuts. So here we go. I thought I'd show you this because some of you might not have ever seen this. You might not know what I'm talking about. This is the little coil, the little engine ignition system. It says on it, warning, high voltage, because there is actually seriously high voltages in here. They do bloody out if they zap you. The voltage range is 4.8 to 8.4 volts. That's the voltage going in. That's not going out. You've got thousands and thousands and thousands going out. Temperature range is -10 to +60 degrees centigrade. So that's the coil thing. You've got your battery, which you connect your battery, that goes into there, that goes around there, through there, down your HT lead, into your plug. This is what steps up. This is what steps up your 8.4 lead, your 8.4 volts, or your 4.8, or anything in between volts. Steps it up thousands, and then sends it down into that, down to your plug. Anyway, thought I'd show you that. That slots in there quite nice and neatly. You've got your receiver, so I'm just going to go and switch that over now. Alright, so we've got, I put temporary, well, it probably might not be temporary, depends. If I can mend that other transmitter, it'll be temporary, because I want it to be original. So I'm going to put the original receiver back in it and use the original transmitter, even though I've had to glue it together. But for now, I've got a Futaba on it, and that. So we got steering, and it's the right way round. Throttle. The throttle doesn't do anything because it's missing the little thing on the end of it. So I'm going to have to go and nick one of them off another one. And also the spring. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But we've got brakes. Oh, we haven't got any brakes. Well, we've got no brakes. We'll sort that out. The brake moves. Hold on a minute. I think that's round the wrong way. Don't listen to anything I just said, you cock. It was round the wrong way. I had it on. Must have had it reversed or whatever. So the brakes do work. Yes, the brakes do, and the throttle does work. It's not missing the little thing. I thought it was missing. I'll show you what I mean. So that works. Does it go full? Right, it doesn't go to full, it only goes to about half throttle. So it might be because we need to adjust the end point. So we want, oh, it's on 100%. No, still doesn't go to full throttle. So I need to adjust the throttle so we get full throttle. That'd be quite easy to do, in fact. Might even be able to do that now. What have I got here? Might even be able to do that now if I undo that. Why does it need to go? It needs to go that way. Undo that up about there. Alright. And then we move the trim. The trim is in there. Now we get full throttle. Get full throttle now, but it doesn't go back to takeover. It'll be too high. Let me play around with this, get this so it's set up properly, and then I'll come back. So this, the hole for the aerial tube is really difficult. You can't get underneath it and poke the aerial through. Now, obviously, what you're supposed to do is you can split the top of this tray, take it up. Now these two screws here undid, but the two at the back, they're stuck in there, and I could get them out. Don't get me wrong, I can get them out. Take the cage off, I could get them out, but I'm not in the mood for fanning around too much. I've got a lot to do today. So I'm just trying this little trick here. What I've done is I've got this, don't know what this is, a water temperature gauge or something. It's got nice thin wire on it. So I've poked that backwards through the hole, and here it is coming through there now. Now I'm hoping the hole, if the hole's too small to take this and the aerial and a little bit of tape, I'll take it all out, drill the hole bigger, and then get it out. But I'm going to tape the end of the aerial to that, and I should be able to pull this wire through, and that will then pull up the aerial through there like that. So it's worth a go, just for the sake of a few minutes, see if that works, because I don't want to round off the top of those screws. They're stuck in there. Let's see if it works. You never know, it might be a success, or it could just be a waste of time. The only way you know is to try. So get a little bit of tape, just a tiny little bit, because we don't want to make it too thick, because that's a very small little hole that's got to go through. So we just stick a little bit of tape, and I don't want to ruin the aerial. I'll be quiet. I don't want to ruin the aerial, so I'm gonna put it on that bit like that. Teeny tiny little bit of tape, just stick that together. Oh. Well, I cocked that up. I cocked it up. I've gone and cocked it up. A little bit of tape. Right. Just cut that off like that. Right, let's try again. Not that you can probably see anything what I'm doing, because probably my hands are probably in the way, which is great. Perfect. What more could you want? There we go. Now this is going to be far too thick. Far too thick. Need some scissors. I don't think this is going to work. I think it's going to be too thick. I don't think it's going to go through the hole. But we can try. It's never going to work. Ah, you bastard. Didn't work. Alright. Well, that was an idea that I had anyway. I think I might try and drill that a little bit bigger and see what I can do then. I just don't want to pull the end of my aerial out, because you can pull that little end off and then it's no good and it doesn't work anymore. It's not going to get the range. I know some of you are going to say, no, load of rubbish. Don't be silly. I pulled mine off and it still works fine. Trust me, I've had that in the past where this little bit that's exposed has come off, and then all you've got is the rest of it. It doesn't work anywhere near as well as it did before. So it does something. Simple as that. There we go. Aha! I wasn't going to let this defeat me. There we go. One aerial through its little tube as it's supposed to be. Now I just got to put it all back together. I went in the toolbox in the end and brought out the big guns. Got out the long screwdriver. Normally these are reserved for actual real size cars when you've got to get in places. Got a whole set of these different sizes, but I had to get the big gun out so I could get to those screws properly. My normal little screwdriver just wasn't cutting the mustard. Anyway, let's put it all back together, get that all arranged nicely. I don't like the way that this coil is sat in there because it bends the wires, and bending the end of wires is a recipe for disaster, because in the end they bend. They get not cut, but they split when they bend, and they don't make a connection very good anymore. A lot of people don't understand that. They just stuff wires in, they get all bent up, they squash them against the casing and all sorts of things, and then they wonder why things stop working, because you bent the bloody wires. Anyway, put it together and see where we end up. Right, so getting to the end of this now, packing this all back together. Now I can tell you, as normal, this is not a one-off for RC cars. Look at my hood. Bloody, don't you hate it when your hood's all like screwed up? I don't know how that happens. Anyway, it's not a one-off. All nitro cars, HPI, are particularly bad for it on most of their models. But in general, nitro cars, and this is, I know this isn't nitro, but I'm just saying, when you've got a receiver tray with everything, pardon me, they always pack them in. You've got nowhere to put your wires nice and neatly. I don't understand why they do it. Can't they think something through properly? I don't know. But this one is particularly not very well thought through. So you've got your ignition system there. You've got to kink that HT lead there. It has to be kinked. There's no way of not putting it in. No way of putting it in where it's not kinked. And also the other two wires at the end, they're also kinked. It's not good, and I'll explain in another video why this is, because I think this needs to be a topic, because I think people just don't seem to understand. I mean, even the engineers who make this, they must know that kinking wires, and it's not something you're probably thinking, well, listen, them engineers know what they're doing, they've got years of experience, so they would make some, that, you know, if it was an actual problem, they wouldn't have it like that. Fair enough, that's a fair comment, but I know that I won't be the only person who's got loads of experience with wires, okay? And when you've got something like that and it's kinked, it's actually kinked like that is, all the vibrations and moving around, that will eventually work it loose. It will pull the wires out of the ignition system, or it will, where the kink is, it will start to split the wire. And over time, it'll just won't make a good connection. You'll get intermittent connection, and then it'll just break completely. Wires, they shouldn't be kinked when they come out of something. They need to be straight and have a bend on them, not a kink. Take of it what you will. I think that is a particularly bad design. Doesn't matter, there's bad designs all over the world. We get around them. That's what we do, problem solve. So for now, that is in there like that. I think what I'm going to do, if I do, well, I will be keeping this, I would imagine. To make this better, I'm going to cut a hole there so that that wire isn't any more kinked. Any more kinked? Why do I keep talking like a bloody foreigner? So that this wire isn't kinked anymore. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Happy days. Right, there we go. All put back together. There's all the tools that I ended up using. I actually ended up, I don't know how the bloody hell I've done it. I must have weakened it at some point. But I ended up snapping off the end of one of my Allen drivers. I was absolutely gutted. That's probably one of the ones I use the most. That's probably why it was a bit weakened. But anyway, doesn't matter. That's that sorted now. We've got an aerial, dink, got a receiver in there. I've put the wires in the best I can. I'm not happy with how the way they're kinked, but I'm not going to keep going on about it because you'll get bored. Air filter seems to be alright. I've checked that, and it seems to be in good condition, so happy days. The next thing to do now is to go and get it out in the field and actually give it a go, start it up and give it a run. The tick over needs to come down, but we don't know the rest of it. Before we adjust the tick over, we need to see how it's actually running, and see whether it needs adjustment on the mixture or anything like that. I've set the fail safe as well, so I haven't set it for brakes. I've set it to go back to neutral throttle, so throttle, and then we've got steering. So if I do full throttle, so we're on full throttle now, turn that off, that goes back to neutral. I haven't got it set to brakes. I might set it to brakes later on, but the brakes are really good. I could set it to half brakes or something, but for now it'll just roll around if we have any issues. Happy days. Nice one. Let's put the shell on it. We haven't admired it yet with the shell on. Look at that. Look at that. I don't like the way that is. What is that? Hold on. Down here. Pop it up. There you go. Look at that. What a lovely truck. That is, isn't it? That is a brilliant looking. They did make a good. Look at that engine in there as well. It does look the tits. Looks very, very, very good. Anyway, can't see anything else wrong with it at the moment. So the next time that you see this car, and me probably, will be when we're out and about giving it a bit of a test. So if you want to see that, stick around. If you like this, stick around, because there's going to be plenty more videos on this. I'm not going to fire it up again today because it is quite loud. I'll probably have to take it out to the field and fire it up out in the field. But anyway, treat people nicely, love life, treat people how you want to be treated, and we'll all have a very nice happy life. And it is a brilliant day today, so get out there and enjoy it. Cheerio you lot, all the best.